This Denver Broncos defense is about to wreak havoc. They're built to dominate, not just in September or October, but deep into January, and maybe, just maybe, all the way to February. By the time we're done here, you'll understand why this unit has the potential to rival or even eclipse the legendary no-fly zone. No disrespect to that iconic group, but what we're witnessing now is the rise of a new force in Denver. While other teams are busy showing off for the cameras, the Broncos are doing something far more dangerous. They're working in silence. Head coach Sean Payton isn't interested in headlines. He's interested in results. He knows that real greatness doesn't need a spotlight. It shows up when it counts, on the field, in the trenches, when the stakes are highest. Now let's talk about what makes this defense so special. Vance Joseph had this unit flying high last year, top 3 in scoring defense. The formula is simple. If Denver holds opponents under 18 points per game, this team has the firepower on offense to win every single time. With Bo Nix at quarterback and a retooled offensive scheme, 21 points a game isn't just possible, it's expected. But the soul of this team, it's on the defensive side of the ball. Let's start with Pat Surtain II, the best cornerback in football, period. He's not just elite, he's the standard. Players, coaches, and analysts across the league agree. Surtain is a game changer. And it's not just the eye test, the numbers back it up. His PFF grades, his coverage stats, his shutdown ability. Everything screams all-pro, and that's just the beginning. When quarterbacks dared to target Pat Surtain II last season, they paid the price. He held opposing QBs to a 58.0 passer rating. And remember, that scale goes up to 158.3. That's not just bad, that's F- territory. It's the kind of stat that makes offensive coordinators lose sleep. And the fear was real. Teams simply stopped throwing his way. But that had a ripple effect. It forced them to test the other side. Enter Riley Moss. Now, if you watch closely, you saw the shift. Before his injury against the Raiders, he was already showing flashes. And after returning, while some called it inconsistent, let's be real, he still showed serious promise. He allowed a 64% completion rate, broke up 8 passes, and yes, gave up 60 receptions. But considering the volume and how often he was targeted in place of Surtain, that's solid. And now, he's healthy, he's confident, he's ready to prove he belongs in this rotation full time. But Denver didn't stop there. They doubled down and then tripled down on their strength. Jahdae Barron is here, a unanimous All-American. The man who beat out Travis Hunter for the Jim Thorpe Award, given to the best defensive back in all of college football. That's no small feat. That's elite-level recognition. And in today's NFL, where teams live in 3 wide receiver sets, you need 3 legit corners on the field almost every snap. Last year, Jaquan McMillian played 70 to 80% of defensive snaps in that nickel role. This season, expect Barron to step into that spot and thrive. His instincts, closing speed, and ball skills are tailor-made for today's game. Now imagine this depth. If, knock on wood, Surtain or Moss misses time, Barron slides right in. And don't forget the buzz around Chris Abrams-Drain, who looked fantastic in camp and even picked off Justin Herbert in the red zone last season. That play? Pure anticipation, pure talent. This cornerback room isn't just deep, it's dangerous. And it's built for a deep playoff run. Let's talk about that game against the Colts. Chris Abrams-Drain came in, and everything changed. The moment he replaced Levi Wallace, the secondary tightened up, the coverage sharpened, and suddenly Denver's defense was back to its dominant self. This isn't just a good cornerback group. It might be the best trio in the entire NFL. And when you pair them with a safety group this talented, you're talking about something special. First up, Brandon Jones, snatched from Miami in what now looks like one of the steals of the offseason. Sure, fans were sad to see Justin Simmons go, a leader, a legend, but Brandon Jones has already shown he's ready to step up. He posted an 86.0 PFF grade, racked up nearly 90 tackles, broke up multiple passes, and was a force both in coverage and against the run. His 90 coverage grade was one of the best in the league for his position. And then, the Broncos took it to another level. They brought in Talanoa Hufanga, an all-pro and a game wrecker. He's not just a safety, he's a heat-seeking missile, an enforcer, the kind of player who changes the tone of a game with one hit, one read, one explosion off the line. Now imagine both of them back there. Jones locking down the back end, Hufanga flying downhill like a hammer. And if injuries strike, this unit is still loaded. De'Laren Turner-Yell brings depth. PJ Locke plays every snap like it's his last. All heart, all hustle, all in for the team. This secondary is so suffocating they've earned a name: restricted airspace. Receivers won't have windows. They'll have nightmares. And with all that lockdown coverage in the backfield, the front three, they're going to feast. Just look at the pressure numbers. Denver's defensive line generated nearly as much pressure as the Eagles' front four, and they did it with just 3. That's dominance. It starts with John Franklin Myers, a relentless force on the edge. And here's where things get truly terrifying for opposing offenses: Denver's front 3. This group doesn't just pressure quarterbacks, they punish them. And the best part, every one of these monsters is either playing for a new contract or a legacy. Let's start with John Franklin Myers, a steal in a trade with the Jets for just a 6th-round pick swap. Since then, he's been wreaking havoc. He posted a PFF grade near 83.0, won 15% of his pass rush reps, and he's only getting better. Sean Payton himself said Franklin Myers is having one of the best off seasons in the building. Then there's DJ Jones, a beast in the trenches. The 49ers tried to bring him back, but Denver said no thanks. He's ours. Jones is elite at stopping the run and anchoring the middle. He sets the tone, sets the edge, and wrecks interior gaps. Don't take our word for it. Zach Allen says Jones is the best nose tackle he's ever played with. Speaking of Zach Allen, let's talk dominance. This guy won on nearly 20% of his pass rush attempts last season. That's elite edge production from the interior. He thrives in Vance Joseph's system, and his QB hits nearly doubled the next closest player on the roster. He's relentless, physical, and smart. Exactly the kind of lineman championship defenses are built around. Together, Franklin Myers, Jones, and Allen form one of the most disruptive defensive fronts in football. But these guys take a beating over a 17-game season, and Denver's ready for that too. Malcolm Roach is quietly one of the most exciting depth pieces in the league. He flashed serious talent with the Saints, and every time he saw the field for Denver, he delivered. Tough, physical, underrated, and waiting in the wings, a sleeper talent returning from suspension, a guy who's hungry, motivated, and ready to contribute. This D-line isn't just deep, it's built for a playoff run. And when Denver forces obvious passing downs, get ready, because that's when the edge rushers come flying in. And trust me, they deserve a section of their own. Let's talk about what happens when the Broncos unleash their NASCAR package, a lightning-fast quarterback hunting formation built for one thing: total disruption. But to understand its power, you've got to look at the linebacker core. And it starts with one name: Nick Bonitto. Last season, Bonitto looked ready to become the defensive MVP of the league. He finished ranked number 2 out of 211 edge rushers according to PFF, with a rock-solid 77.0 grade. And he's doing it while earning a fraction of what top-tier pass rushers like Joey Bosa or TJ Watt command. Bonitto dropped 15 sacks, 9 tackles for loss, and forced one of the most unforgettable turnover plays of the season: a scoop and score that flipped the game against the Colts. Pure electricity. Opposite him, Jonathan Cooper, a 7th-round steal, overlooked only because of a heart condition that once scared off scouts. But Cooper doesn't play scared. He plays like a man on fire. He racked up 61 pressures and 13 sacks last season. That's production every team in the NFL dreams of from their number 2 edge. Broncos country, we've got it on both sides. But the depth doesn't stop there. Jonah Ellis, last year's rookie revelation, barely saw the field due to injury, but still managed 5 sacks, placing him top 3 among all rookies in that category. While teams like the Dolphins were hyping up Chop Robinson, Denver quietly had a monster in the making brewing on the bench. And if Jonah comes back fully healthy, look out. Then there's DeAndre Tillman, another undrafted gem. He also dropped 5 sacks and proved every doubter wrong. While other fans mock undrafted players, Denver develops them, and they produce. This linebacker room is deep, dangerous, and built for chaos. When Denver rolls out its pass rush package, it's not just pressure, it's a wave, relentless, violent, ruthless. This unit doesn't just complement the defensive line, it supercharges it. If there was one part of this Denver defense that struggled at times last season, it was the interior linebacker unit, but that's about to change in a big way. The return of Alex Singleton is already a massive boost. Before tearing his ACL, Singleton was a tackling machine, putting up 122 total tackles in his last full season. He's done it with the Broncos. He's done it with the Eagles. He's the kind of player who lives around the ball, and just having him back and healthy elevates this entire group. But Denver didn't stop there. They added a tone setter, a guy who hits like a freight train and runs like a wide receiver, Dre Greenlaw. Greenlaw comes to Denver with an 82 PFF grade, a 79 in coverage, and game tape that proves he's one of the fastest, smartest, and most physical linebackers in football. The man once clocked in at 22 miles per hour on a pursuit, and that speed shows up in every snap. What was once a weakness is now a legit strength. And the depth? It's scary. Drew Sanders is back, and while his name didn't explode on the stat sheet last year, his ability to rush the passer makes him a chess piece in this defense. Then there's Lavelle Bailey, a player Sean Payton is seriously high on, and you better believe if Payton believes in you, there's a reason. This linebacker room isn't just deep, it's versatile, aggressive, and battle-tested. And when you zoom out and look at the full picture, the corners locking everything down, the safeties flying like missiles, the front three pushing pockets into chaos, this defense feels like the rebirth of something special. Maybe it's time we stop comparing every great Broncos defense to the no-fly zone. Because this one might just forge its own legacy. Bonix is going to have the support he needs. The playoffs aren't a dream, they're a target. And this defense, it's locked in, loaded up, and coming for the league.